Hey, everybody, this is Bonnie Barker, and we are trying again. Um, I'm waiting for my administrator to. Okay, this is Bonnie Barker with Friday Fun Live, and we had some technical errors going on. I was broadcasting according to what I could tell, but I was told by others that it was not working. So I don't know what the deal was, but since we're not experts there, let me go ahead and just check with my administrator and see if we are live now. Let's see if this is working. Ola Joe, hey, good to have you with us. She says, I'm yarn shopping, my dear. Happy Friday. Okay, thank you, Phil. Says it was not working for me, but it is now. I am so sorry, guys. It all looked the same. What I had up here, everything. I was talking to nobody apparently. Um, but I'm going to go ahead and start again. I'm so sorry for the delay. Um, Thank you, Google, for misleading me 100% on this. So I'm glad. Okay, hi, got here okay, but not for long today. Alana, thank you, Alana, and Diane. So good to see you. Um, Yay, Ola Joe, thank you for the feedback. And Felicia, good afternoon, sis. Again, it's just so crazy how these things work. Um, and thank you for sending the link to people in the chat, Hannah. Thank you so much. Well, anyway, it is a beautiful Friday here in South Carolina. I drove down on what was it, Wednesday, through a lot of that nor'easter that we had along the coast. And so we drove through rain until North Carolina, where the sunshine finally came out. And things have really heated up here since. It's in the high 80s here today. um, Very different from the 50s fall weather that we were having when we left. So, yes, Hannah says, I had a handsome driver who escorted me here. Yes, absolutely. My husband drove. So I was able to do a lot of knitting. And I'll show that to you all. Let me go ahead and just show it to you now because so much time was wasted with this technical glitch. I promise you this was not on my end this time. I was looking forward to today because the internet here has been upgraded. So so much for that. So anyway, I got a little bit further on my sweater. Of course, it needs to be blocked and everything. But look how close I'm getting, guys. I've got my sleeves. I still have to do some work connecting them, but I have my sweater getting closer. So now I need to do another Latvian braid after I finish some German short rows. Sounds like an international sweater. And then I get to do my little ribbing around the neck and I'll be done. I'm hoping to show this to you next week if I can figure out how to block it away from home. But at any rate, I'm really, really, really excited about this one. I learned a lot from it. As I do from every knitting project. I do not consider myself even close to an expert knitter. So every time I do a new project, it's a big learning curve, but I'm enjoying that after so many years of not knowing how to knit. Well, I wanted to tell you this past Saturday or last Saturday, I had a wonderful time. I got to get my little Miata and drive over all the big bridges to New Jersey to see my friend and our moderator sometimes who comes to visit us, Esther. She's expecting a baby. She's expecting a baby girl. Don't know exactly when, but I'm really, really, really excited for her and was able to give her a baby blanket and maybe something for her. So it was just really fun to do that. And I know you all wish Esther well. Okay, where did I find the pattern for the sweater? Actually, the sweater is in a Knit Picks book. I have the book in the other room, but it's kind of no longer being published. And I actually had to change the colors that I used because the yarn colors that were in the original picture are also no longer available. They were like these really pretty greens, so I went ahead and changed it to blues. It was like, anyway, it was really pretty in the picture, but I'm just coming up with something a little bit different. If you are interested in the book, if you really want information on that, just contact me through my email, which Nothing is in the video description currently, but I am going to have it all in the video description once I get offline. I had to open up a brand new broadcast for whatever reason. The original one just had I guess, a bug in it or something. So I will have that information once I finish with this broadcast. Oh, thank you, Diane. Thank you for the encouragement on the sweater. Oh, thank you, Denise and Felicia. Thank you so much. If you saw it up close, you'd see a lot more stuff that's not so impressive, but I'm not going to worry about that because, it's just part of the learning. We do this not because we want it to be perfect, but we want to learn. We want to grow in our skills. And that's what I'm trying to do. And thank you, Alana and Ola Joe and Phil. Thank you so much. Was thinking a lot of you, Phil, as we were driving on I-95 for many hours. I know you've probably driven that road a billion times. All the trucks and all the hard work. We saw some really crazy driving and not so much. Well, there was one crazy trucker that made us thankful for all the others that were not crazy. But just thank you for what you do, and all you truck drivers out there. We so appreciate you getting us our yarn and everything else that we need. Okay. Let's see. Oh, we have CS Reno. Welcome. Great. Glad to have you. And Anna Marie Decker from St. Louis, Missouri says, hope your Friday is spectacular. Thank you. I'm hoping it will be going better once we got this broadcast working. I feel like I'm doing this 2 times now. And Sylvia says, newbie, LOL, 80-year-old starting over in crochet. Well, welcome, Sylvia. We're so glad to have you here. Just 80 years young. That's wonderful. Just think, when you turn 81 next year, Lord willing, you can say that you are 18 backwards. I had a friend that used to say that. So, yeah. And we have Susie. She can hear me. Thank you, Susie. And I think, great. It was just so weird that we weren't getting a chat. And so I'm glad that things are better. Okie dokie. And Loretta says, hi from Clayton, North Carolina. My first time here. Well, welcome, Loretta. It wasn't until we got to North Carolina on Wednesday that we got to see the sun again. So we were very happy with that. We passed through your state just a couple of days ago, and a couple of weeks I'll be heading back. Let's see, we have so Alana, if you need the sweater pattern, I can tell you where to get the book, or Hannah, if Hannah wants to bring me the book. Sorry, Hannah, I left it in the other room, but you might be able to find it on a used book site or something like that. It is a really nice pattern, and so far I've just not had any issues with reading it or understanding it, and I really am appreciative of that, of the writers of that. So thank you guys for your encouragement there. Well, let me go ahead and cut right to the chase and just talk a little bit about what's coming on the 29th of September. So that's not next Monday, but the Monday after that. I'm bringing out my Celtic weave stole. Thank you. And Hannah, you can say hi. Come say hi. Can you move this chair too? Come say hi, Hannah.
Hi.
Gotta see.
Hi.
This is Hannah.
Wow.
My sweet, fantastic moderator and daughter. And you can just put it like right there, or you can put it out there. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so this is the book. It's called Encircled, and this is a Knit Picks publication. Let me see if I can. So they do not have this available anymore. Let me show you the original sweater, and it has some charting. Okay, so this is the original sweater. They did not have these colors. It's a black and kind of a heather green color. They didn't have that available, so I just went with navy blue, which I think maybe even will be better for my skin tones. Navy blue, and I went with a lighter shade or a different shade of blue to complement that. And they did have the gold color. Yeah, so that's the same. So that's what I'm working for. We're working through. This is a sport weight yarn, which is small. It's like a number 2 weight yarn. So it has taken me a while. I've been working on this sweater for a couple years, just on the side. It's not something I do a lot of. Obviously, I've been very busy making videos on other designs. So with crochet, and I'm all about crochet, but because I love, love, love learning new things. So back to this. This is the stole I showed you all last week. It features the Celtic weave stitch, which is this stitch here and here, and in between is a double crochet V stitch, just a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet V stitch, and that's also on the sides. And at the bottom are double. It's like a double ribbed stitch. So it's just working front 2 front posts, 2 back front, 2 back posts, 2 front posts, 2 back posts for that double ribbing. Not difficult at all. And I designed this again just so that if anyone has ever had trouble with the Celtic weave, or you want to learn the Celtic weave, this might be a project you could start with. Now, I made this out of a very nice fingering weight alpaca yarn, which feels wonderful up against the skin. Alpaca is also really good if you are allergic to wool, and you don't want to obviously make something out of something that you're allergic to. So alpaca is it's what they call the camelid family, with the camel, and it's very different. Has a very different makeup, so that people who are allergic to wool can use alpaca. The only downside is if the alpaca has been processed in a plant where regular wool is also being processed, then it may pick up some of the allergens, and then that kind of negates everything that I just said. But you can sometimes contact a yarn company if you're looking for alpaca and just ask them, do you also process wool in the same place? If I'm allergic, can I depend upon you to tell me that this is only going to have alpaca fibers? And if that's the case, then you're good to go. All of that said, if you don't want to run out and spend a lot of money on alpaca yarn, I totally understand that as well. You can use any yarn for this. You can use any size yarn. I would say up to a number 4, which is worsted weight, kind of like Red Heart Super Saver is, for example, a number 4. Now, you're probably not going to get the same kind of drape unless you really upsize your hook. But whenever you use a different yarn, just make sure that you match your hook to the yarn that you're using. And if you want a little more drape than what you're getting, if you end up with a lot of very stiff fabric when you're crocheting, go to another hook size bigger and see if that helps. Of course, you don't want super sloppy stitching if the hook is too big, but just experiment with that. But anyway, I encourage you, when this comes out, if you're not able to purchase the yarn that I use, it's never a problem. Shop your stash, shop what you have at home, and use some of that yarn that you have left over. I used about 12 to 1300 yards for this, for the fingering weight. This is a little over 60 inches long. The exact specifics will be in the pattern, which will also come out in my Lovecraft store and the Etsy store once that becomes available, and with the video as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and get back to the chat. Oh, thank you, Mimi. She says, so happy you're able to get on. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Michelle says, I have made your poncho and scarf. Love your work. Oh, thank you, Michelle. So glad you enjoy that. I so enjoy doing this. I'm so blessed to be able to do this. All right. All right. And Melanie, thank you, Melanie, for your kindness. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is fun to wear these things too. And this one feels really good. I'm going to keep it on until it warms up. All right. We're running on the later side because of that technological glitch. So I'm going to just dive right in. I have something to show you. Before I show it to you, let me tell you a little bit about it. It's a collaboration between my friend Jennifer Ryan of Celtic Knot Crochet. Those of you who followed me for a little while know that we've been in cahoots together doing music and fun stuff. We've been good friends for more than a decade, since yeah, probably 13 years now. And she's my friend who's up in New Hampshire, and she specializes in crocheting Celtic knots. So we got together and we have created a baby blanket, and we're calling this the Celtic Knot baby blanket. So you can see the center right here is a Celtic knot, and this is Jennifer's part in this project, which of course is the main center feature. And so what's going to happen is, let's see, this is coming October 15th. And on October 15th, both of our videos will release at the same time, the same day. You would first need to go to her channel. And what I want to encourage you today, I'm going to have this put in the video description once I finish the live, but I want you to subscribe to her channel if you can. It's Celtic Knot Crochet with Jennifer E. Ryan. And what will happen October 15th is you go there and you're going to learn how to do this. Now, I don't want you to freak out about this. Okay, this is going to be a new technique if you've never done any of her stuff. These knots are only made out of strands using chains, single crochet, slip stitch, and some half double crochets. Okay, and then you weave it in, and the place where it connects is actually hidden, under the weave. So it's like 4 different things that you make, which are easy basic stitches, but you do have to follow the directions. And then you weave these together. And because of the information that you're going to need to do this, I highly encourage you invest in the written pattern that will be available. It'll be available both from Jennifer or from myself. You can purchase it from either of us. And when you do, you'll have the complete pattern. You'll have both Jennifer's writing and my writing, no matter who you purchase it from. We wanted to streamline this. I remember last year when I collaborated with another designer, that was a lot of fun, but you had to go around to a lot of sites, and I didn't want you all to have to do that. You are going to have to go to her channel for the instruction and then come back here, and then I will show you how to go around. And these are stitches many of you are familiar with. It features the low front ridge, it features the arrow stitch, and of course my all-time favorite, the Celtic weave. And again, this is just repeated up here with the low front ridge arrow. And the trim is ribbed stitches with a 4-post cable thrown in. And let me show you how the corner goes. So this is definitely an intermediate, I would almost say intermediate to advanced pattern, only because you have new things here. But I don't want you to be frightened by this. And if you are, what I would encourage you to do is go to Jennifer's site. Again, that will be in the video description once I'm done broadcastings right away. Okay, I'm getting a connection is unstable. Okay, now maybe we're back. So hopefully everybody's still with me. So anyway, the Celtic Knot baby blanket, that's coming October 15th. That's going to be a Wednesday release because that's the same week as Columbus weekend. And I've noticed that whenever I release things on a 3-day holiday, things just don't go very far. So I'm going to set this here so you can see this. Let's bring it a little bit closer. There we go. And I have a couple other things to show you here. I've shown this yarn before, but I'm getting ready to break these open and start working with my Paintbox yarn. This is chenille, and it feels so soft. I'm going to be starting on a beginner baby blanket that I think will be very beginner friendly. So I want to make sure everybody's happy in case you're a beginner out there and you see something like this and start to panic. I have a lot of beginner stuff as well. So if you wanted to just kind of, you know, build your chops a little bit on some of the other designs, check those out. But that said, don't ever be afraid to learn something new. Okay. Don't feel like you have to be an expert to do, expert or intermediate projects. You don't. And mistakes are definitely allowed. That's just part of learning. If I showed you this sweater, let me go ahead and bring this out again. I mean, when I could show you many mistakes that I have made in this, but I'm still going to enjoy the sweater. I'm still going to enjoy the process. And you know what? My next sweater isn't going to have those same mistakes. Okay. I'm not going to point them all out to you, but they are small, but nobody has to know but me. Right. Um, so hopefully, and I'm hoping for a lot there with blocking. I'm hoping that things will really go well. But anyway, so I'm going to be starting something new, and I also wanted to say something about yarn supply. As you may have noticed, there are some delays, especially with Paintbox, and go ahead and use Paintbox and Lovecrafts. Again, I am not a see. I like using this yarn. I do use affiliate links for this yarn, but that's as far as I go. I am not a paid representative, just to let you know. Um, I love to be able to have the freedom to share with you what I like, and I like to be able to share my honest opinion. And by not having direct employment contacts with any other publishers or um, yeah, or yarn companies or anything like that, I am free to let you know my true opinion, and I like that. But anyway, that said, just be aware that there are a lot of delays, I guess, in restocking with their US store. If you're in the UK, you're fine because they have a lot more available for you right now. I have noticed that some of the colors are starting to trickle in. So maybe it's just a matter of time before that happens. I mention that because my latest release, the coffee cappuccino throw, both of those videos are now available. So you can crochet that from beginning to end. I don't have that with me. It was kind of bulky to pack in the car, so I decided to leave that one at home. But that throw, both videos are available and waiting for when you're ready. I do highly recommend purchase of the pattern. It is one of probably my most expensive pattern to date. Part of the reasoning behind that is it has about 32 pages of information. Two of those pages are mainly just photos, but there's a lot of information. There are a lot of charts. There is actually a chart that you could put together and crochet the cup by so that you don't have to read all the minutia of the written word. You could just read the chart and get that accomplished. When it comes to the cables, that's a little trickier. So I do recommend that you follow the written pattern or the video with that so that you can get those. All right, so I'm going to read Hannah's question. Okay. Okay, how would I respond to someone who wants to learn the Celtic knot but is intimidated by it? I would say, well, let me go ahead and look up her channel right now. Give me 1 second to get this link, and I'll put this in the. All right. Make sure you get to her channel. Okay, let's quit that. Okay, here it is. I'll put it right here in the chat. Let me give it to Hannah as well, just in case. All right, it's in the chat, Hannah. So that YouTube link is for Celtic Knot Crochet. I'd recommend you try some of her smaller ones and see what you think. This is actually not difficult, but it is going to take some following directions. It's not, it's going to, that's why I say you need to really get the written pattern, because she has a worksheet where you actually pin the sheet to, let's say, a piece of cork board or something that you can put pins in, or a blocking board or something, and you actually can weave it together, and it's sewn together. And let me show you also. There is also a back piece that's just crocheted and added on to the back of this, and I did use some fabric glue as well. So this is a little more involved with this project, but I really think you end up with a what's the word I'm looking for? You just really end up with a very nice blanket. So if I can, there we go. So you really do end up with an heirloom style blanket, if I may say that. Not in a boastful way, but if you're looking for something very special for somebody. Okay, I have a question from Sue Foster. Hello, Bonnie. How are you and the family? Have you seen the Cathedral Rose stained glass Afghan pattern or kit? It is beautiful. How would I do the rose? Thank you. Yes, that is a beautiful pattern that's been with Annie's, I believe, for a long time, and I think they do sell kits there. I think it's Annie's, or Annie's Addict, I think is what they're calling themselves now. I believe that's where that is. I have not looked at that pattern before up close, so I don't know that I can answer your question. It's like how do you do the rose? Yeah, I don't know. Sue, I would need to look at the pattern, and I don't own that currently. But if you can contact me via email, I can definitely take some time and try to take a look at that. And from Ekstrom, please make a large blanket too with Jennifer. I could make that gorgeous one larger, but not the centerpiece. Your two techniques complement each other perfectly. Thank you, Ekstrom. That is so kind of you. I will pass that along to Jennifer and see what she says. She really specializes more in smaller things. I think this is the first time she's made a baby blanket, because I've actually been trying to encourage her because of all the stats that I've seen from my channel over the years. I know that you guys like throws the best, that no matter what season of the year. I mean, the way the Blue Ridge throw has done so well this summer, this summer, late spring, early summer, just proved to me that you all want to do these all the time. And I've tried talking with Jennifer. I think she's just a little hesitant to get into something so large, but I will talk to her and see what we can do. I think doing a blanket with large and small Celtic knots would be absolutely fabulous. Thank you for that prompt and that little push. We will definitely look into that. All right. Let me go ahead and give you some more information. You've heard this before. If you've been to my channel, I'm going to be traveling to Prince Edward Island for the Fiber Festival there, October 23rd through the 25th. I'm actually going to get there a little bit early so that I can take a tour of I think it's the Montgomery home, who was the author of Anne of Green Gables, because that's the inspiration area for all of that writing. But anyway, the conference, or the festival, Fiber Festival, is going to be at Prince Edward Island, October 23rd through the 25th. That's up in Canada. That's just above Nova Scotia, for those of you who may be like me and a little geography challenged. It's going to be at Delta Hotels, Prince Edward, 18 Queen Street in Charlottetown. So Charlottetown is, I think, the major town there. It's a beautiful island, I'm told. It is going to be later in the season, so the good news and the bad news. Okay, first, the bad news is probably not going to be as scenic with beautiful trees, because most of the trees will probably have lost all their leaves by then. That's the bad news. The good news is we might have some snow. I don't know. And although I'm not really that familiar with whether that would happen or not, but I will guarantee you one thing, you'll be able to wear your sweaters and the things that you make to this fiber festival. Usually the fiber festivals I attend are in the dead of the summer, and it's like 80 to 90 degrees outside. I can tell some of the ones I've been to, like I'm thinking of one went to years ago in um, Charleston, South Carolina in mid-July. I mean, so hot. And here we are with our shawls and things. And of course, you can't wear them outside. I mean, you can wear them if the air conditioning is on freeze, but that's about it. But if you come to this fiber festival, come join me. We have room in the classes still. And you'll be able to wear all your sweaters. You're not going to be sweating to death in them. It's going to be wonderful. I'm really looking forward to that. What classes am I teaching? Okay, I'm going to run through these kind of quickly. Introduction to crocheting post cables. I go very slowly in this. I use overhead so everybody can see what I'm doing. I use a projector. I come around and check you. There's nothing better than taking a class in person. It is, yes, it is better than Zoom. It's so much better than Zoom. It's so much better than even just a YouTube video, because you can stop and ask questions and get immediate feedback. It's so much fun. We get to see each other face to face, like real person time. So if you've ever considered doing this, I am getting a little pushy. Yes, I am. Please come. And if you want to travel, get in the car, pack the car, especially if you're on the East Coast. I mean, we're going to be driving 17 hours to get there. My husband loves to drive, and we love driving the Northeast corridor. So we're going to be just driving straight up through New Hampshire, probably wave at my friend Jennifer in New Hampshire as we go through. We're going to go straight up through Maine and beyond. So come join us. Come join us. It's just a drive, and it'll be beautiful. I'm also going to be teaching a class, crocheting beautiful trims and borders, which we're going to cover all kinds of stitches like the low front ridge, the cable stitch, which is the one using single crochets and chains, the knurl stitch, which is also called the crab stitch or reverse single crochet, the arrow stitch, all these stitches that you can use for trims and borders, kind of like I did, in this. So we're going to learn lots of stitches there. I'm also teaching a class, Intro to Reading Crochet Patterns and Stitch Diagrams. And again, my guarantee for that class is you'll be able to understand crochet speak better than text speak. I promise. I heard a bunch of acronyms the other day for text speak, and I just thought I'd never heard any of them. I mean, I like words. But anyway, with the crochet, it's so much easier. I'm going to demystify these things called stitch charts. Once you understand how they work, it kind of goes, it opens up everything so that you can read, even like Japanese stitch diagrams. Maybe if you don't read hiragana or the katakana or the kanji, you'll be able to read their patterns that are written out exclusively in stitch diagrams. So come join me for that one. I'm going to be teaching multiple ways to crochet ribbing and 3 ways to crochet braided cables. So 5 classes in total. There are going to be a lot of other classes there too. So if you want to come learn knitting or spinning or weaving, there are a lot of different classes. So come check that out. Prince Edward Island, October 23rd through the 25th. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, yes, I have another design coming in October, probably towards the end of October, probably the last Monday. The red honeycomb poncho will be released then. Real excited about that one too. And that one, I just used a worsted weight yarn. Of course, you can use whatever yarn substitutes you like. I did get distracted. I was talking about yarn substitutes as far as the cappuccino throw, the coffee cappuccino throw, and others. Also, and also this also applies to the yarn that I use for this. I actually use a DK weight yarn. I use the Paintbox baby DK weight. It's a blend of acrylic and nylon, which is a good blend for baby blankets that can be washed and dried, washed and dried, washed and dried. You don't have to worry about preserving, a natural fiber or anything like that. So there are some delays in stocking the U.S. store. So there are some colors there. For example, they do have the white available, but they don't have the two shades of blue right now. That said, I wanted to encourage you guys, if you want to buy something like right now, and for the record, I used four um, of those DK weight from Paintbox. I don't remember the exact yardage, but it's generous. I used four of the light or white. If it was, I used champagne white, but if you wanted to use the main color, the main light color, I used four balls of that yarn and one of the two shades of blue. So that's about a six skein project. Now there is another yarn that I found on Knit Picks. That's KNIT. I'll go ahead and type this in here. Knitpicks.com. They have really good yarn substitutes called the Brava yarn, Brava. They have that both in the DK and they also have it in worsted weight. It's comparable in price to what I used for Paintbox yarns. Uh, and it looked like they had a lot in stock. So if you're looking for yarn to substitute for either the coffee cappuccino, or if you wanted to stock up for this coming in October 15th. Again, the Brava yarn looks like it would be an excellent substitute. It's an acrylic yarn, and it's also, I think the DK is also called the baby DK. Excuse me, by Brava. And that's with knitpicks.com. And what you can even do, what I recommend you do is sign up if you don't mind getting emails from them. Sign up for their notifications, and you will be notified when these different yarns go on sale and have discounts applied. And that's what I always do. I just wait for the big sales and then go ahead and yeah and stock up at that point. Also, last week during our live chat, I mentioned that Yarnspirations, which now owns Red Heart Yarn Company, they're up in Canada. I noticed that on their online availability, they didn't have that many colors available to substitute that. But then somebody commented in that if you go to the store, you actually go to your local Michael's or wherever, that they do have a much larger palette to choose from, a lot more colors to choose from in store than they have online. So you might even want to, if you're a Red Heart Super Saver fan, I mean, you may even be able to find the colors you need there. So I haven't used their yarns in a while. Yeah, and if I do, it's because I picked something up at Walmart or something like that. But yeah, so definitely, if you're looking for yarn substitutes, this is the time where we have to get creative. And again, always start shopping from your stash first. Hannah wants me to repeat the dates again for the Prince Edward Island or the PEI Fiber Festival. That's October 23rd through the 25th. That's this year. It's coming up in about a month. Whoa. So things are happening. Things are happening. So let me go ahead and get back to the chat. Phil saying leaves are already changing back home in New York. Yeah, I noticed that before I left yesterday. I was sitting at the kitchen window, and we have a lot of mocker nut trees in our yard. We have a tulip tree, and there's a silver maple way back in the backyard, which is good. So it's not going to hurt my foundation of my house. Those root systems on those trees can be pretty bad. But anyways, I noticed that as the wind was blowing, a lot of leaves were falling. So by the time I get back to Maryland, I don't expect to see a lot of leaves on the trees. But yeah, I'm thinking up in Canada that may have been like ancient history. I imagine a lot of the trees are going to be you know, past peak for sure. All right, gonna back up a little bit here in the chat. Thank you, Hannah, for sending me the questions and all. And I'm glad you all like the baby blanket. And okay, we have a new person, Root Seller. That's the first time I've seen that name in the chat. Welcome to our little world here. And Walk by Faith, welcome to you too. It says hello, Elizabeth Vera. I'm from Houston, Texas too. Woo. Okay, we got some Texans in the chat today. Wonderful. Um, and Tracy from Tampa. Yay, my home state where I was born and raised. Um, And Root Seller, if you can't get that the link for Jennifer's channel off of the chat here, I am going to have that in the video description once I get off of the broadcast, which will probably be within the next 10 minutes or so. So yeah. And Melanie, welcome. And thank you guys for the comment on the baby blanket. I'm just backing up for that. And Elizabeth says, hello from Houston, Texas. I want to really learn how to crochet the Celtic stitch, but I'm so intimidated by it. Yeah, the Celtic weave can be a little bit of a stinker until you understand it. So I'm trying to be very deliberate. I do have videos on my channel. If you just go to the little search bar on my channel and just type in Celtic weave, I do have a couple of different videos on that that just deals with that stitch. And I try to go slowly, and I'll just go ahead and say if ever you come to a video on my channel or anybody's on YouTube, this also applies for my watch channel, and I'll talk about that in just a second. At the bottom of the screen, if you stop the video, you'll look at the bottom. You'll see a little gear-shaped icon, like a little gear thing. If you click on that, it'll bring up a playback speed and a bunch of other things. So you hit playback speed, and then after you select that, then you select, faster or slower. It'll tell you how much faster or how much slower, and you can do it at different speeds. So you can do that, and that works with any of the videos if you need to really slow things down even further. Okay. And if you get bored with anything, a video, and you want to watch it a little bit faster and be entertained, I don't know, you can hit that and make it, twice or 3 times as fast. And that could be very, I guess, a fun way to pass some time. Anyway, oh, thank you, Denise, for your sweet comment. Thank you, Ola Joe. Alana says we have neighbors who have a few alpacas on their farm, and Hannah's wondering, are they stinky like sheep? Or are they pretty clean? Well, they're still farm animals, Hannah. I imagine, but they are herbivores, so they're probably not going to be that bad, right? Right? Because they just eat the grass and stuff like that, eat hay, and yeah, they should be fine. All right. Knit, Pearl, and Squirrel with Granny D says llama fiber must be sort of rare or expensive. I don't think I own any in my very large yarn museum. It's more common than you'd think, actually. It became very popular, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago. And a lot of people in the US have alpacas. It's kind of interesting. A lot of the best llama and alpaca yarn, though, that I've gotten to date has been from South America, where the animals are allowed to be in more harsh, colder climates. I know in the US, the animals tend to be a little more pampered, and by law, they have to be, kept more comfortable. But what happens is when the animals are left in their natural environments, which are harsher than maybe we would like here in the US, they tend to produce better alpaca, better yarn, better fur, and whatnot. So, or at least that's what I have read in some yarn books. So, if that's not true, I'm open to correction on that for you guys who know more than that. I've never cared for the animals myself, I mean, I've never taken care of me. I do like them. I mean, I've never owned them as animals, so that I really don't know a lot about the husbandry of these animals. But I know that they are popular. And I think if you go to yarn stores or just look online, I have found some llama yarn very, very well priced. Actually, I bought a bunch of llama. Speaking of llama yarn, I bought a lot of it when I was in the UK back in 2019, and still haven't made anything with the batch of yarn that I got. I have enough to make a sweater or a very nice stole. And I'm going to be getting onto that probably this winter. So you'll be able to see that yeah, it's a really nice, it's actually a very similar color to this, but it has, oh, I forget the word, but little specks of other colors in it as well. Yeah. Um, okay, so let me just scroll on down and see if there's anybody else who's new that I need to take a look at. Thank you guys for your sweet comments about the blanket and all. Um, I really, 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 really appreciate that. Thank you, Root Seller. And Alana says, love that Celtic knot blanket. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Phil says, Fair Isle is such an intricately beautiful pattern. Yes, it can be. Um, and with the sweater that I'm working with, all the color changes, again, that's the learning thing, is just learning how to make those floats on the backside when you're doing the color changes. It's a lot of fun. I have a question from Diane Cody. How do I find more information about the PEI classes? Do I need to pre-register? Um, let me get you a link. Again, the link will be in the video description once I finish broadcasting. Because of the little glitch that we had, let me go ahead and give you this. All right. All right, here's the link. I'm putting it in the chat now. And from that link, you can get all information you need. It'll direct you to all the classes I'm teaching and everybody else. It'll show you, there's a lot of different ways, couple different ways to look at all the classes. And yeah, you do need to pre-register. If you register, I think once you get there, I think they may have that ability, but I think it's going to be a little bit more. So I would highly recommend registering it in advance, because I do have minimums to make. And if I don't have a minimum number of people in certain classes, the class will be canceled. So it really does depend heavily upon pre-registration. Okay. And you can just look at the website for all of that information. Well, let me go ahead and go through some more of these. And thank you, Jesus Joy 7. Yes, good day to you too. I hope you and your husband are doing well and healing well. I'm doing well today. He says this is a good day. Once we got the broadcast going, we had some delays with that. Thank you, Felisa, for subscribing to Jennifer's channel. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you, Hannah, for explaining. Yeah, we had a small hiccup. I was doing everything I was supposed to do, but it just sometimes, things just don't work. And Mary says, I love Jennifer's Celtic knot heart. Yeah, she's got a lot of really small projects on there. I encourage you to just get your feet wet with a small one. And once you understand how she does things, you'll be encouraged to do more. I do have a class that she taught for my watch channel last year sometime, and all of the information is there. You can download the pattern and you have to print it out so that you can, construct the knot and everything. Made a little keychain, which is really, really cute. And for those of you who don't know what the watch channel is, this is my paid subscriber version of YouTube, I guess you could say, except that I have a lot more there than what I do on YouTube. I don't broadcast from that channel. I only do that here on YouTube, but everything else is without advertisement. I just wanted to let you know that's totally ad-free. Nobody tracks what you do on there. And as a special perk on the watch channel, I try to do a Zoom call or a Zoom class about once a month, as well as there are many complementary patterns that you can just download. So the pattern like that's going to be released for the blanket and the coffee cappuccino. And when this comes out, instead of having to purchase them from my online stores, I don't offer my patterns for free. I know a lot of people do that with a lot of ads and spam. I've chosen not to do that route. Um, I just part of me, I'm not okay. I'm gonna just say it. Part of me is I don't like training everybody that everything in life is free because it's not. I like living indoors in the wintertime. I like eating 3 meals a day, et cetera, et cetera. So the pattern sales do help me with that. But on the watch channel, it's $7.95 per month or $79.50 per year, which is a savings if you're a mathematician. And the patterns are complementary for most of my work. The work that where I own the copyright, there are some things on there that I don't own the copyright. They're owned by a publisher somewhere else, and because of that, I can't give that to you legally. But everything that I own is on there, and it is available for you to download as a complimentary pattern. So just to let you know that the information will be in the video description as soon as I finish broadcasting. So anyway. And Jesus Joy 7, thank you for the update. She says, PT facility changed my aqua class on Fridays. Have to hurry up and get ready, but I'm glad I could hop on for a few minutes. We'll watch the replay. Well, I just hope you and your husband heal quickly. And Phil says he's northeast of Maine. Whoa. I don't know if, yes, where I'll be is northeast of Maine. So I don't know if that's where I will be. I wonder if, yeah. I know you know where all these places are. You've probably been there. Yes, Phil, talking about PEI. I get it now. Yeah, definitely the leaves are going to be further along up there. I learned some interesting things historically about them too. Is they used to have a lot of really big, tall trees up there, but sometime during the 1600s, the shipbuilding, back when they used to build those big wooden ships, they used the tall, straight trees for that. And apparently they didn't reseed. They didn't reseed their land. So they don't have those big, tall trees anymore. I thought that was so sad. They just didn't manage their land very well. Or at least back in the 1600s, maybe that wasn't a priority. Anyway, thank you, Mary, for your kind support on the book purchases. I so appreciate that. That just has freed me to be able to do this full time, and I just love that, and also to care for my family when I need to. All right. Yeah. Okay, so I think I've answered some of these questions. Thank you, Heather. She says she loves the Wash Channel, worth every penny. Thank you for your support, Heather. I so appreciate that. And I will be getting to you all about the next upcoming class online. Unfortunately, I was not able to get one done for September because I spent about 2.5 weeks recovering from COVID and literally could not talk. So my husband brought me that gift that keeps on giving. I brought it home and we ended up getting it. So anyway, but things are totally on the mend, totally better. Thank you for your prayers. And Nessa, thanks for joining us. Sorry, I'm late getting to your comment. I'm currently working. And Armel says, have a good Friday afternoon. It is dinner time in France. Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks, Hannah. Thank you so much. I appreciate the thumbs up there. Phil says, the techies don't need to track my interest. I believe they have a tracker on my brain. So I just need to think about it and it will appear online soon thereafter. Oh, that is so freaky. Isn't that weird when that happens? Yeah, no monetization for commercials or any of that on the Watch channel. I guarantee it. I will not do it any other way. Although they've asked me to, and I'm like, nope, I'm keeping this ad-free, spam-free. Okay, Phil says, I'm currently in Ontario, California, wondering where Swati is. Yeah, she maybe got left behind with the glitch that we had. Yeah, I hope she's doing well. Thanks for asking about her, Phil. Hannah says, maybe if we all think about her, she'll pop on and say, hey. Yeah, thank you, Denise. Yes, thank you for your prayers. Feeling so much better. And DL Chris says, greetings. I'm late, so watching from the beginning. Well, welcome. Um, Thank you again for explaining that, Hannah. And Root Seller wants to know, can I make the beanie cardi without beads? Absolutely. Just skip the beads entirely. You could definitely do that. And the beads, I think, are only around the neck part anyway. Well, let me go ahead. I want to read something to you all. Something that many of you have probably heard many times before, but it's like an old song. Uh, and I'm actually going to read from the book of Psalms in the Bible. Um, I know you've heard this before, but sometimes our favorites are the ones that we enjoy the most. So let me go ahead and I'm going to read. It's been a challenging couple of weeks, for me personally, for us, just on a spiritual, emotional level, and also got some bad news from a friend whose family is struggling before going live, and I won't even get into that because it'll just make me cry to even talk about it. But I wanted to read Psalm 23, a Psalm of David. I know you all know this, but if you could just listen with me, maybe we can glean something new. And for those of you who are newer on my channel, I share this out of a heart to encourage, not to um, pigeonhole us or any of you, and I'm not requiring, I'm not requiring a lot. I need the encouragement, and I need with the fire hose of information that comes to us every day, whether we're online or not. It's just nice to recenter on something that's been around for thousands of years and is still true. So I want to just read King David's words, Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. What a wonderful promise for those who are of the faith and who trust in the Lord. So I hope that's you. Um, and I just wish you all a wonderful week and hope to see you here next week. God bless. Bye bye.